Hey guys, just wanted to send this video message to you all just as an update of what took place this past weekend. We had our tribe leader meeting this past weekend, so for those of you who are watching who did attend, this will just be a reminder of what was discussed. And for those of you who were unable to attend, this will be an update again of just what was covered, what was discussed. In our meeting, we had two separate discussions, one that was led by Pastor Craig and one that was led by me. The discussion that Craig led had to do with our ministry's safety policy and procedures. So just going through just a couple situations that we may come across as leaders, situations that involve maybe our students confessing, sharing that they're in a time of crisis, that they've been experiencing anxiety, depression, maybe suicide, them expressing their affiliation and consideration to the LGBTQ community. This was discussed by Craig, and I'll actually be making a separate video of just some of the notes, some of the things that he shared. But for the sake of this video, I do want to update you guys and share briefly what I had discussed. That we had studied the passage that was present in Matthew chapter 9, where Jesus is surrounded by crowds and he has compassion for them, and how the message in that passage connects to our role, our position, our reality as tribe leaders, and that we are called to have a heart of compassion for our students, and how a heart of compassion allows us to, a heart of compassion aligns our hearts desires with Jesus's, and it allows us to lead like him. And how compassion helps us as leaders is that it helps us to view our students through the lens of Jesus. That compassion helps us in that way, that instead of viewing our students as a nuisance, as bothersome, as an obligation, through the lens of Jesus, we look at them as boys and girls, children that were made in the image of God, who God deeply loves, who God came in this world to save, who need God. Compassion helps us see them through this lens, and how compassion will help us see the immediate needs, to see the needs of our students. You see in Matthew chapter 9 that Jesus is surrounded by the crowds, and brought to his attention are their needs, that they are helpless, that they are harassed, that they are like sheep without a shepherd. And how our students, a lot like the crowds in Jesus' day, a lot like sheep, they're unable to operate properly on their own, that they need leadership, that they need regular care, guidance, and protection. And that's where we come in, and compassion will open our eyes to see where they're at, to see where they need help. Compassion will help us see, oh man, my student is experiencing depression. My student is experiencing anxiety. My student is experiencing loneliness, or that they're confused on particular matters. They're confused on how to operate in their walk with Jesus. Compassion will help us in that regard, opening our eyes to see where they need help. And lastly, compassion gives us endurance, that this isn't our only commitment. This isn't our only responsibility. We have commitments on the outside, whether with work, with school. Some of us are parents who have children, right? And with this commitment alone, it's like a marathon, right? Where either we've committed to tribe leading for the remainder of the year, for the next couple years, or until they graduate. Like a marathon, it warrants endurance, that in order to finish the race, we need endurance. And so compassion helps us in that regard, in that it raises urgency, it raises fire, it raises passion in us to lead our students, to lead the next generation to Jesus. Another thing that was shared in the passage is laboring for the people in our community, laboring for the people in our spaces of influence. In our case, laboring for our students, that by laboring, it's us utilizing our role, utilizing our position, leveraging our role, leveraging our position in student ministry, and bringing Jesus, bringing the gospel to them. And how I envision us laboring for our students is through three different ways. Number one, that we would come 15 to 30 minutes before the service, and that we would leave 15 to 30 minutes after. And I know that for some of us, Again, some of us have school-related commitments, work-related responsibilities, and so we're unable to come 30 minutes before. I would just encourage you to make the effort to come at least 15 minutes before. But for those of us who have the ability, who have the time in our schedule to come even 30 minutes before and stay 30 minutes after, that will help us tremendously. It carries such a powerful impact because I envision it's something that I really want us to do before the service is huddle together, come together and pray for the service, pray for the night, pray for our students, pray for the tribe time discussion, that we would acknowledge and invite God into our space and allow and have him lead us as we lead our students. So by coming 30 minutes before, that will allow us to do that. By coming 15 to 30 minutes before and saying 15 to 30 minutes after, that gives us the opportunity to connect with our students. That it opens the door for us to connect outside of tribe time. Where in tribe time, we connect with them from a broad sense. In the spaces before and after service, we're able to connect with them in a more personal level, have those one-on-one conversations, build relationships, build bonds, build some rapport, become more familiar with the students who already attend on a weekly basis, and for those who they're coming for the first time, and also for safety-related reasons, by our presence before and after service. Our students love to play around, they love to run around, they love to explore. So where there are more leaders present while the students are present, from a safety standpoint, it benefits them, but it also benefits the ministry as a whole. And the second way that I envision us laboring is that we would sit in the services with them. That no longer are we sitting in the back tables, but as 6:30 comes around for our middle school leaders, and as 7:30 comes around for our high school leaders, we are in the service with them, because we faced some challenges where our students are less engaged, our students are distracting each other, our students are on their phones, and so to eliminate that, by your help, by your presence, by your participation, it'll alleviate those things. That by your participation, by your presence, it enables them to listen. It enables them to lean in on what's taking place with the worship, with the songs that are being sung, or the message that's being taught. It shows them your commitment to them. And again, by your presence, your participation in the services, it alleviates any distractions that would interfere their experience with Jesus. And that's why we're here. That's why we've committed to doing what we're doing, that we want them to experience Jesus. We want them to know Jesus. We want them to walk with Jesus. And so by our presence in the services, it leads them to that. And the last way that I envision us laboring is through prayer, that we would pray for our co-leaders, that we would pray for our co-laborers, not just our immediate co-leader, but also our other tribe leaders who are leading other tribes, leading other age groups, and so that we would just keep them in prayer moving forward. That we would also pray for our students, that they would become laborers, that they would become laborers in their spaces of influence, in their schools, in their homes, in their friend groups, and that we would also just lean in on praying that God would use our services, would use our ministry to reach the next generation with the gospel. But this was just some of the things that were shared in this weekend's meeting. I hope that this blesses you. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow night. And again, I'm just so thankful for all of you, that we were able to lock arms with each other and lead our students and bring Jesus to them. And like I said, in regards to the safety policy and procedures, the notes that were shared from the meeting, I'll be making a separate video on that and sending that later on this week in the next couple days. Thank you guys.